Hello, Pewter people. Scott Reynolds here with another Pewter Pulse. We knew that the Bucs were going to target a proven edge rusher this offseason, and we found out who that was going to be on the first day of free agency. Former Cardinals, Panthers, Eagles, and Jets outside linebacker Haason Reddick was added to the team with a one-year prove-it deal worth $14 million. Time will tell if this ends up being a good free agent signing for the Bucs, but Reddick checks a lot of boxes for Tampa Bay, and I'll discuss that in today's Pewter Pulse. But first, a reminder, hit the thumbs up button and give us a like. Also, leave a comment. I love reading the comments. And when you do those two things, it helps us with the YouTube algorithm. And if you like our videos at Pewter Report TV, our YouTube channel, make sure you check out our written content at pewterreport.com. Now let's talk about Haason Reddick and what he will do to fit in with the Bucs this year in terms of their pass rush, and the 5 things he will bring to Tampa Bay in today's Pewter Pulse. The Bucs have had a couple of opportunities over the years to acquire Haason Reddick and have passed on him in the past. Part of the reason has been that he really hasn't done anything against Tampa Bay. General Manager Jason Licht has seen Reddick play twice when he was with the Cardinals versus the Bucs, twice when Reddick was with the Panthers, and twice when he suited up for the Eagles. In 6 games versus Tampa Bay, Reddick didn't record a single sack and totaled just 16 tackles, with 8 coming in one game when he was with Arizona back in 2019. In his 2 most recent games with the Eagles against the Bucs, Reddick was shut out on Monday Night Football, didn't even record a tackle in 2023, and had just 1 tackle in Tampa Bay's 32-9 playoff win versus Philly. Okay, so Light has built some dominant offensive lines that has kept Reddick in check. But it's hard to argue Reddick's sack production against other teams, and that's what made Light warm up to the former first-round pick out of Temple this offseason. After he failed as a linebacker, the Cardinals made him an edge rusher in 2021, and that saved him from being a bust. After 7.5 sacks as a blitzer over his first 3 years in Arizona, Reddick had 12.5 sacks and 5 forced fumbles in 2020 in his final season with the Cardinals. Then he spent 1 season with the Panthers where he recorded 11 sacks before moving on to the Eagles, where he had 16 sacks, which was a career high, and forced 5 fumbles in his first Pro Bowl year in 2020 and added 11 more sacks in another Pro Bowl season in 2023. Reddick wanted more money and was traded to the Jets in 2024. He didn't necessarily pick that destination like a free agent would, and he went there anticipating he'd get a new contract. When that didn't happen, he held out during OTAs and training camp and through the first 7 weeks of last season. When Reddick finally suited up for the Jets, well, they had fired head coach Robert Saleh by then, and their season was in a tailspin. Now Reddick comes to Tampa Bay on a 1-year prove-it deal where there are 5 ways he can impact the Bucs defense. First, he has a proven track record rushing the passer. He's been a double-digit sacker on 3 of the 4 teams he's played on and had 4 straight seasons with 11 sacks or more prior to last year in New York. When he arrived in the Big Apple, he told the media in his initial press conference that I'm all about constantly putting quarterbacks under duress. Well, that didn't materialize last year as he had just 1 sack in 10 games, but the Bucs are counting on last season being an aberration because the Jets are an absolute dumpster fire of a team. Second, the Bucs wanted a speedy, athletic pass rusher to complement Yaya Diaby, who is more of a power rusher. Tampa Bay had contrasting styles at outside linebacker from 2019 to 2021, where the speedy Shaq Barrett teamed with the athletic freak that Jason Pierre-Paul was to combine for 64.5 sacks and 18 forced fumbles during that span from 2019 to 2021, and that also includes the postseason. Reddick was the closest thing to Barrett in free agency this year, and he's even faster and more athletic than Barrett. Khalil Mack and Josh Sweat, well, the team deemed those to be more in terms of Diaby's pass rushing style. So Reddick's going to be a nice contrast to Diaby's power. I mentioned all the forced fumbles that Barrett and JPP produced. And Bucs head coach Todd Bowles has said this offseason he wants ball hawks, not just guys that can get interceptions, but also guys that can get the ball free. Forced fumbles. Tampa Bay's outside linebackers forced just 4 fumbles last year. Reddick has 17 forced fumbles in his 9 years in the league. I should say 8 years. This will be his 9th season. And that includes 6 forced fumbles in 2020 and 5 in 2022. The Bucs need more strip sacks in 2025, and Reddick walks in the door as the most experienced guy with a knack for doing that. Third, Reddick brings experience to a very young room of outside linebackers. The mere presence of a proven pass rusher like Reddick should help elevate the games of Yaya Diaby, Chris Braswell, Marquise Watts, and Jose Ramirez. That's another experienced guy that those young Bucs can pick the brain of and hopefully get some tips and tricks and help supplement the coaching they'll get from Larry Foote. Fourth, Reddick is 30 and he'll be 31 later this season. Jason Light loves adding hungry players to the roster in free agency. Shaq Barrett was hungry for more playing time in 2019, and Ndamukong Suh was hungry for a Super Bowl ring that year too. Baker Mayfield was hungry for another shot at being a franchise quarterback in 2023, and Ben Bredeson was hungry to show he was a starting caliber guard in 2024. Reddick is hungry for redemption in 2025 and one more shot at a big contract. The fifth and final thing Reddick brings to the Bucs is not much risk. It's a short-term deal. It's a 1-year deal. If it doesn't work out in Tampa Bay, there won't be much of a dead cap hit. And his addition doesn't preclude the Bucs from drafting an edge rusher like, say, Boston College's Donovan Ezeraku early. Remember, last season, the Bucs signed veteran Randy Gregory to a 1-year deal in April and then drafted outside linebacker Chris Braswell in the 2nd round. Reddick can also bring some needed attitude to the Bucs defense. I'm not talking about a bad attitude either. The Bucs wouldn't have signed him if that wasn't the case. Larry Foote coached Haason Reddick back in Arizona when he started his career in 2017 and 2018 when Reddick was an inside linebacker at the time, and Foote was the inside linebackers coach with the Cardinals. So the history of those two guys together is going to work out well because Foote would now be his position coach as an outside linebacker as Haason Reddick comes to Tampa Bay as an edge rusher. What I'm talking about in terms of mentality and attitude is that dog mentality. Reddick has some edge to him. He's from Camden, New Jersey, and he played at Temple. Todd Bowles is from Elizabeth, New Jersey, about an hour away, and also played at Temple. Reddick is Temple tough, as they say. Wouldn't it be wild if the Bucs drafted another Jersey guy in Donovan Ezeraku, who was born and raised in Williamstown, New Jersey, which is South Jersey, just outside of Philadelphia, where Temple is? Ezeraku could be the long-term replacement for Reddick and spend 1 year at least learning from him. Talk about a perfect situation for the Bucs pass rush for years to come. Well, you guys have us in a perfect situation to hit 18,000 subscribers on our YouTube channel. That's where Pewter Report TV is. Make sure you hit the subscribe button and check out Pewter Report TV for more Pewter Pulse episodes, other great Bucs video content, such as our Pewter Report podcast, which come out 4 times a week, even during the off season. Make sure you follow us on X, Facebook, and Instagram at Pewter Report for more free agency and draft coverage. And pewterreport.com is where you can find all of our stories, mock drafts, and everything that you want to learn about the Tampa Bay Buccaneers this offseason. And I'll be back soon with a new Pewter Pulse.